Hello, good evening, and how are you today? Thank you for joining me on today's program. Thank you. I hope and I believe that your day has been wonderful. I also believe that this is a special day for you and I to be able to look again at some of the attributes that is required in order for us to become and be the person that God wants us to be, and to achieve what God wants us to achieve, and to ultimately impact our lives, our families, our community, and the world at large with these qualities and this deposit of treasure that God has put on the inside of us. My name is Tunde Disu, and it's an honor for me to have you on this program with me today. It is such a privilege that every time you are there, you are with me, you are on this platform, you are sharing and you are communicating, you are commenting, you are sharing, you are doing everything to make this platform what it is today. I am honored and I am grateful. Grateful for your time, grateful for your commitment. I am grateful for the impact that your presence has made in my life and in the lives of other people who are partakers of the grace that God has endowed us with on this platform. Thank you. I appreciate you. This is another day where we are going to be looking at another tool, another ingredient, another element, something to add to our store, our arsenal, as it were, towards the journey that we started, so that we can all arrive at a destination where, when we look at our lives, we look at the journey, we look at who we are, who we were, and who we are, we can truly say, God has been good to us, to have taken us through this journey and bring us to where we are on this glorious day. So, this is a journey of discovery. This is exciting. This is that there is such a joy in my heart every Thursday when we meet like this, to just look at another aspect of what we can do and what we can become to be able to achieve the goal that we have set for ourselves, but ultimately to be able to arrive at the destination that God purposed in his heart when he created you and I to come to this planet. On today's program, we are continuing on what we started last week. We're looking at the importance of paying attention. The importance of paying attention. Last week, when we started looking at this topic, at the beginning, it seemed like, what is he talking about? Where are we going with this? But by the time we hit the gusher, as it were, and we started swimming in this river of discovery, I was so elated. I wanted to jump out through the screen, because we were touching on some aspects of our lives that we probably have never taken cognizance of. Maybe we have even recognized it, but we are limited in our knowledge, in our experience, in our exposure, in our ability to tap fully into the benefits thereof. So I'm so happy that we were able to start that topic last week, looking at what does it mean to pay attention? What is attention? What are the benefits that will accrue to a person for paying attention? What are the types of attentions that are there, so that we can know when to apply them, when to use them, where to use them, how to use them? All these were the things that we looked at last week. For the sake of quick recap, because like I said, we are continuing this week. For the sake of quick recap, I'm just going to go through a brief summary of what we said last week. But before I do that, I want to appreciate all of you that are already on the platform. Can you please go and share this program tonight, let's click the share button and let's spread the news. Let's tell people, call people, ring people, whatever you have to do, so that we can, like the Bible says, we can all be lifted up together with Christ into his glory. We are looking at attention. Become a better man. Pay attention. Some people, I've heard somebody said, oh, you are so broke you can't even pay attention. I mean, it is meant to be a joke. It is meant to be a casual talk. But so much truth is included, is attached to that statement, that everything around that person is so dysfunctional because they don't pay attention. That is the meaning of that sentence or of that statement. Everything around and about that person is so dysfunctional, is so scattered, so unorganized, simply because the person will not pay attention. The flip side of that coin then is this. If you and I would just take our time to pay attention, like the Bible says that we should ponder the path of our lives. We should be mindful of what we do and how we do them. If we will pay attention, then a lot of things around us, a lot of things about us, a lot of issues around our lives and circumstances probably could either be avoided or not be there at all. So paying attention is something very, very important. It is absolutely, it is crucial, it is essential that for us we must pay attention. When you and I were growing up, and even up to now, you hear people say, be careful, watch that. All they are saying is pay attention. They might not have said pay attention, but when you hear people say, be careful, watch that space, be mindful of that, all they are saying is pay attention. So what is attention? What exactly is attention? Simply put, attention is the ability to focus certain stimuli around us or thoughts that we have in our mind, to be able to focus it on a particular issue, a particular object, a particular task, a particular aspect of our lives, and at the same time ignoring, almost jettisoning, almost zeroing out, almost silencing all other factors around and about us that are competing at the same time, aggressively, vigorously for our attention. You see, we only have one attention, but all around that one attention are hundreds and thousands of things that is beckoning, that is whispering, that is shouting. Some are pulling us to say, I'm here, pay attention to me, give me your attention, give me your focus. But paying attention is being able, even in the midst of that commotion going on, still being able to respond to certain stimuli and focus our mind and our thoughts to a particular item on that plethora of things that are competing and zero in on that. Let me give you an example of the power of attention. When we were in secondary school, there was an experiment that we were taught, or we were shown, where they would take a magnifying glass and put it, reflect the sun, or allow the sun to reflect onto the magnifying glass. And that magnifying glass, is underneath it will be like a paper or a dry leaf. But after a while, you see the paper or the dry leaf catch fire. Boom, fire will just start burning on that paper or on that dry leaf. The question is this: why is it that the paper or the object underneath the magnifying glass is the one that is on fire, when the same amount of sunlight or heat is being generated all around? Why are the others not catching fire? Simply put, because at that instant, at that moment in time, the power of the rays of the sunlight is focused on that magnifying glass. And because of the intensity of the focus, the result is a change of reaction underneath the magnifying glass, which is the paper or the leaf being set on fire. That is the power of paying attention. That is the power of being focused, being mindful, being totally focused on what we're doing. For instance, when you watch a horse racing, you will see some horses with what they call blinders on them. They will cover the peripheral views of those horses. Why are they doing that? These horses need to see what is going on. No. The reason they put those blinders on their peripheral views is to avoid them being distracted from their lane, the lane and the race before them. That is the power of attention. So in a nutshell, attention is the ability to focus on certain stimuli or certain thoughts while ignoring all others, which in turn will shape how we perceive and how we experience the world around us. The world around us, the perception, the relationship, our interaction with the world around us will be determined by how much attention that we are focusing on those things. So that, in a nutshell, is what we said attention is. Then we went on to say, actually, there are 3 types of attention. There are 3 types of attention. We talked about the involuntary attention, which is the one that we have no control at all over it. It just happened. For instance, we gave an example of you sitting down in the front room, maybe you are reading or watching TV, and suddenly from the kitchen there was a loud bang, boom. And what happened? While you are sitting in the front room, at the instant of that sound, you jump, you shake, you leap from your seat. Why? Because at that instant, that response is involuntary. It's not something you said, I'm going to jump now. You have no control over it. So that is an involuntary attention. You were not paying, you were not focusing on it, but suddenly something around you, something within the atmosphere, caused you to force your attention to in response to whatever is stimulating around you, which is an involuntary attention. Then we talked about the voluntary attention, which is, like we said, is where you purposefully, you deliberately, you consciously made a decision to say, I am going to focus on this item, on this task, on this object, on this critical issue that is confronting me right now. In fact, we said also that statistically it's been proven that students who focus on their studies, they will attend lectures, they will do the assignment, they will submit it on time, they will be in the library, they will read, they will research, they will ask questions, they will inquire, they will do. Students who pay attention, they always generally do better than those who will wait till the night before the exam and spend the whole night trying to catch up on a whole year's job. Those students, they do better, not just in the academics, but generally in life. The truth is, you and I know some people, their lifestyle, the way they carry themselves, the way they administer their life, it's a challenge to you. You just wish, how I wish I can be as organized and be together and be able to be on top and be in charge and be in control of everything around me like this person or that person. The difference is that person, those people, they are paying special attention to those things around and about them more than you and I are doing. So that's the second type of attention, the voluntary attention. That's the one you and I will have control over, because it is generated out of a decision that that we make. The third type of attention we talked about was the mind-wandering attention, what we generally call daydreaming. Now, a lot of people, when you hear the word daydreaming, it's like, oh, I don't want to associate myself with that. I don't daydream. The truth is, medically and statistically, it's been proven that every human being spends at least 50% of our lives, of our day, of our existence in that realm of daydreaming, where our mind just wanders away, where our mind starts to do things that we are not physically doing, and suddenly your mind has traveled from here to the other part of the world and is interacting with other things that are completely way away from your immediate environment, but your mind is touching them. And that is why they have said that if you think about a task before you go to sleep, say there's an assignment, there's a report, or there is a duty that you need to perform, and you're having issues with it, and you're thinking about it just before you go to sleep, most often, by the time you wake up, there are answers and solutions and way out and breakthroughs that will just be popping up in your head. You can do this. Why don't you talk to that? Why don't you approach it this way? The reason for that is, while you were asleep, your mind has traveled to all those unresolved issues and tried to find a way to take care of them, to resolve them. And that is the power of daydreaming. And we said, if you can master it, if you can capture the power, the essence of daydreaming, you can actually deploy it specifically to certain things in your life, and you will be better for it. Please, if you have not shared this program, let's go and share it. Then we looked at some of the benefits of managing your attention. We talked about being able to manage your attention is the linchpin of success in life. Being able to manage your attention is the linchpin, is the pivot, is the key, is the strength of your success in life. And some of the benefits of managing your attention that we talked about were things like, if you're able to manage your attention, it will boost your resilience. You'll be able to you'll be able to handle certain things better than if you're not able to manage your attention. It will increase your happiness. If you're able to manage your attention, it will increase your happiness in the sense that all the leakages are blocked. Nothing is catching you by surprise. You are on top of virtually every aspect of your life. Therefore, you'll be a happier person for it. Being able to manage your attention also will increase your creativity, especially with the mind wandering, the daydreaming aspect, because when you are daydreaming, your mind is allowed to travel freely. And in the course of that traveling freely, in the course of just hovering over everything, the creativity element of your being will start to come forth. And that is one of the benefits of managing your attention. We also said it will increase your wisdom. So today, what are we looking at? I said last week that for today's program, we're going to be looking at how to strengthen your attention, how to increase your attention muscle, how to develop the ability to pay attention. You see, nowadays you hear people say, oh, children of nowadays, their attention span is very small. Oh, people these days, their attention span is very small. If they visit this website, they will spend 3 seconds there and they move to the next one and to the next one. And that is very true. And one of the reasons for that is there are multitudes of things now that we have to contend with the limited attention that we have. Remember last week we said that just like your willpower, your attention also has a limited amount of strength. But the good news is this. Again, just like your willpower, you can actually develop it, you can grow it, you can expand it, you can stretch it. And that is what we'll be looking at today. How to develop, how to grow, how to increase your ability to pay attention, stay on it longer than you have been doing up till now. Are you ready? Are you ready to go? Because we're going to the gym now, and we're going to get on the treadmill and run, then go to the irons and pump some irons, and then we're going to go and do the leg one, the stomach, every other part. We're going to go stretching in the gym now to develop our attention. You see, our attention muscles, they are just like our physical muscles. If you don't use them, they'll be flabby, they will be redundant, they will be out of shape, they will look ugly. But if you go to the gym and you start doing the pumps, you start lifting and pulling, you start pushing and pulling, you start doing your running on the treadmill, and you're doing all the other things that is required, before you know it, you become Mr. Universe. Now, some people like to have a lot of, they call it the V shape, broad shoulder, tiny waist, and all of that. But if all you want is to just keep on top of things, you can also do that and just increase and stretch your physical muscles to a higher degree than leaving it to just be flabby and be flying about. It is the same thing with your attention. Your ability to pay attention, to be focused on a task at a time, can also be increased, can also be improved, can also be stretched and enlarged and developed. And that is what we'll be looking at today. Research has shown that individuals who can sustain their attention for a long period, they will perform better in all aspects of their lives. People who are able to stay longer on a particular task, they will do more. When I did the promo yesterday on today's program, I don't know, for those of you that saw it, I made a comparison between the butterfly and the bee. When it comes to the nectar, the butterfly will go boom, 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 just touch this one and then fly there and touch that one and fly there and touch that one. But what does the bee do? The bee will go to a flower, gradually go inside the nectar pot and sit there and enjoy the sweet nectar until that is exhausted before the bee will come out and go to the next one. Ultimately, the bee gets more of the nectar than the butterfly because the bee pays more attention. It stays longer on it than the butterfly. If you have a goal to learn, if your goal in life is to learn and understand as much as possible the world around you, which is a vital key, a vital tool that every human should aspire to know as much as possible about your environment, then strengthening your power of concentration is not an option. It is not an option. It is a required necessity that you must be able to do in order for you to take in the things that are around you. Think of the same feeling, the same feeling of internal dread when you start thinking, I need to develop my attention, I need to increase it, I need to expand it. It is like waking up on the second day of January and saying to your spouse or to yourself, I need to start going to the gym. The moment you say that, the first thing that will go up in your head is, oh, it's going to hurt your knees. Your legs will be hurting. Your body will be aching. This will be happening and that will be happening. And before you know it, you will talk yourself out of going to the gym. It is the same thing when it comes to your attention. The moment you say, I need to work on myself to pay more attention, guess what will happen? Your head will say, well, I'm not sure about that. I don't think that is, I don't think you're ready for that. I don't think you can handle that. And on and on and on and on the excuses will be coming. But don't worry. You are in control of your mind. You are in control of your body. You are in control of your decision. You have to set your mind. You have to make a concrete decision to say, you know what? I am going to knuckle down. I am going to do what I have to do to strengthen my attention. I am going to do whatever I have to do to develop and increase this attention. In both cases, whether it is your physical muscle or your attention muscle that you want to develop, in athletics, there's something they call the pain barrier. The pain barrier. That is when you have done all your routines, you have practiced, you have trained, and you feel you have exhausted yourself. I mean, there is no ounce of energy left in you. And just about the time you are going to sit down and have it, then the coach said, right, 3 more laps. And you are thinking, are you for real? I am exhausted. I have nothing left in the tank. And he said, come on. Let's go. And he's looking at his time to say, come on, push it. What is he saying to you? Your coach is not against you. All your coach is saying is, push past that pain barrier. Push past that point where you think, I have nothing else to give. You know what? I'm out. I'm going home. But your coach is not saying, no, there is more. There is more. It's the same thing with when it comes to developing your attention. Just when you think you've had enough, that is the pain barrier. But if you push past, if you force yourself past that point of pain barrier, it has been said that the difference between winning an Olympic gold and being at the Olympics is this ability to push past the pain barrier. I remember there was a race that Mo Farah was running in, and just about halfway through he fell. And everybody was like, well, that's it. He can't win and this and that. But what did he do? He got up, dust himself down. He pushed past the pain barrier and he won that race. He won that race because he was able to discipline both his body and his mind to go beyond the pain barrier to win the race. The truth is this, there is no secret to getting this result. It comes down to the same old. Put your back to it. Strengthen your hand, pull up your socks, roll up your sleeves, and get to work. Get to work. So we're going to be looking at what do you have to do to strengthen your attention. There are certain exercises that will strengthen your attention. And I'm going to try and go through some of them as quickly as possible within the time period that we have. There are certain exercises that you can do to get through and develop your attention. Number 1, just as you will never develop a big bicep and tricep and big muscle and all of that by sitting down on the couch, snoring and sleeping, eating donuts and chips and plantain chips and pounded yam, just as that will not develop your muscle, by not doing anything with your mental faculty, your attention span will also not develop. It will not develop. They both need to be pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. Your mind doesn't like to be disciplined. It Just like our bodies doesn't like to be pushed beyond a certain level. They all like to just be in their comfort zone. But if you can just put the pressure on them, you will get to the other side of the equation. So the first thing, the number one way to increase your attention span or to increase your attention muscle is that you need to increase your focus gradually. You need to increase your ability to focus gradually. You see, Rome was not built in a day. Rome was not built in a day. Just like a child, after a child is born, it will get to a point when that child will start to get up from lying down, then they'll start to sit, they'll start to crawl, then one day they'll stand up, and then one day they'll start walking, and before you know it, that same child is running around the neighborhood. It's a gradual process. Just like you won't go to the gym and pick up 250 pounds or 250 kilograms of iron and start pumping it the very first day. It's the same thing with your mental, with your attention. It has to develop gradually. These are some of the exercises that will help you do that gradual development. Number one. Now, I need you to please work with me on this. There are some practical steps, some practical things that we all have to do in this process. So please, if you are still with me, let me know, say something, type something, and if you have not shared this program, let's quickly go and click the share button. Let's use that as part of the exercise that we need to do to increase our attention today. So the first thing is, how many times have you picked up a book, a journal, a manual, or a newspaper, or whatever? You just open it and you start reading. That's what we do. You pick up a book. What do? You open it and you start to read, which is great. However, this is what I want you to do. The first exercise towards developing your attention and my attention is this. Instead of reading that book, I need you to look at that book and count how many words are in the first paragraph. Count how many words are in the first paragraph. Let me give you a secret to this. When it comes to developing your attention, the first tool that you need is patience. You need to be patient with yourself. You need to recognize the fact that this is going to take some effort, but you need to be patient with it. So in order for you to be focused, in order for you to pay attention over a protracted period of time, let's do the first exercise is get a book. After this program, get a book, open it to any page. The first paragraph, I need you to count. Don't read it. I need you to count how many words are in that paragraph. Are you still with me? Count how many words are in that paragraph. Number two, I need you to increase the number of paragraphs that you're going to count to 2 paragraphs. Don't read it. It's not for you to read. It's for you to count how many words, not the letters, but the words in each of in the first and the second paragraph. Count how many words are in it. Thirdly, after you've counted the first paragraph, you've counted the second paragraph, I now need you to, the third thing you need to do in order to increase your ability to be focused and stay longer on a task or on an assignment or whatever it is you're doing, in order for you to learn how to stay long on it. We've counted the first and the second paragraph. Now the third exercise is I want you to go and count a whole page, the number of words on that page, without using your finger to say 1, 2, 3, 4. No. Now you need to count it mentally, not audibly, just using your eyes. I know some of you are thinking, what on earth are you talking about? It will sound strange. In fact, some of you will think, Tunde, what did you have for tea tonight? Trust me, we are building a case here. So the first thing is count how many words are in the first paragraph, count how many words are in the first and the second paragraph, and thirdly, count how many words are on that page. Yomi Jegere said this is a bit hard. No, it's not hard. It might look hard at the beginning, but don't worry, it will work. Thank you, Forma. Forma said, I love this exercise. So the third exercise on this particular one is to count how many words are on that page without using your hand and without counting out audibly. Count with your eyes and count them silently. That's exercise number 1. Remember, we said you build your attention gradually. That is why we started with 1 paragraph, 2 paragraphs, and then the whole page. Exercise number 2. See, this is why you need to share this program, because you won't be able to write down or remember all this exercise. But if you click the share button, this program will be on your timeline. You can go back and do this exercise over and over and over again until you actually get hold of it and you benefit from it. You be like the bee. You stay on it until you get the best out of it. Exercise number 2. How many of you can count from 1 to 100? How many of you can count from 1 to 100? Now, this is the exercise for this. The second exercise is, I want you to count from 100 to 1. Start from 100, 99, 98, 97, 96, 95, 94. Count from 100 back to 1. What we are trying to do is to establish a pattern where you stay on it long enough, longer than you would normally do. That is part of what we're doing. So the second exercise is for you to count backwards from 100 to 1. Stella says she's going to watch this over and over again. Chinwe said this exercise demands focus. That is what we're working on, to build, to be able to strengthen your ability to focus on a task. So the third exercise is for you to count from 100 to 1. From 100 to 1. The third exercise is for you to count from 100 to 1. Stella said it's serious concentration. Good. The third exercise is to count from 100 to 1. However, this time, you're going to miss every third figure. So you go from 100, 97, 94, 91, and on and on. Miss every third figure. So you start from 100, 97, 94, 91, and on and on and on you go until you get back to 1. One of the reasons we're doing that is because if I say count 1 to 100, without thinking about it, your mind goes into autopilot and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, this time you need to consciously. This is a voluntary attention exercise. You need to consciously rather do it and make sure you do it. And make sure you do it right. And make sure you do it over and over and over again until you master it. Anybody still out there with us on this exercise? It's interesting. Fumi Adeosi said this examination is not easy. You will be grateful for it one day, because it will bring you to a point where suddenly your ability to stay long and persevere will also increase. You will develop your muscles of being able to focus on something. So exercise 4. Remember, we're looking at the first way of developing. We're talking about how to gradually develop and the fact that you have to do it gradually. So Exercise number 4. Grab a fruit, any fruit, banana, orange, tangerine, mango, whatever that fruit is. Hold that fruit in your hand. Don't say anything. Don't eat it. Don't bite it. Just hold it in your hand and examine that fruit. Don't describe it. Just examine it. Hold it in your hand and examine it. Give it all of your attention. Shut down the temptation to say, oh, this must be from Tesco. Oh, they must have bought this from Kenya. Or this, if you eat this tomato, it will boost your metabolism. Don't do any of that. All you're doing is hold that fruit in your hand and examine it. Look at it thoroughly. Look at it. Turn it over in your hand. Look at it. What are you trying to do? What you are doing simply is training your mind to focus on one thing. Focus on that fruit. This is something you see every day, but now you are paying a special attention to this particular fruit. You know what will happen? Say, for instance, you have an orange fruit in your hand. For the first time, you will see something you have never seen on an orange. You will see something on that fruit that you have never seen. And for the first time, your eyes will go ding to say, what? I didn't know orange is like that. I never saw this in a banana. I eat banana every day. Are you telling me the mango has this feature? What are you doing? You are not just looking at it for the purpose of eating and consuming it. You are looking at it to understand, what is this item? What is this fruit in my hand? Your ability to understand the nature of a thing will give you a deeper understanding of how that thing works, or how that thing will work with you and for you. Ufoma said this is good training for the brain muscle. Richard said this is cognitive. Thank you. I'm glad you are all seeing. You are beginning to see the power of training our mind to see this thing. Just look at the fruit and see what you learn from that fruit. And I would like some responses, not today obviously. After this program, once you've done this exercise, drop me a line, put a comment on this video. Let me know, what did you learn from this exercise? So the first thing we said about training yourself to be able to pay attention and enlarge and develop your attention muscle is that it has to be done. It is done gradually. Kate Imoideme said, sorry, doctor, I can't participate. That's fine, man. I appreciate that you're on the road. Number 2, the second way to develop your attention or your focus, your ability to pay attention and focus, is create what I call a distraction to-do list. Create a distraction to-do list. What do I mean by that? We've all heard about create a to-do list so that you can organize your day, you know what to do, set the priorities, use your to-do list to maximize your time and all of that, which is great. But this time I am saying, create a distraction to-do list. What does that mean? Simply put, while you are focusing on a particular task, while you are handling a particular issue, because of the noisy environment that we live in and we are all accustomed to, a lot of things are going in your head. You say you are working on a report, and suddenly in your head you're thinking, oh, today is Thursday. Mr. This is going to come up at 8 o'clock. If care is not taken, you can easily get down that route, and before you know it, you've gone far into, oh, what did he talk about last week? How did that benefit? What did I learn? Or you're thinking, you're working on a report, and you just look up and there's a a blue color just flash in front of you, and the next thing you're thinking, oh, blue, that's the color of Chelsea. Chelsea is playing Arsenal on Sunday. I'm sure they're going to beat Arsenal again because they always beat them. And before you know it, you are drawn into Chelsea against Arsenal. Is Sanchez going? Is he coming? Who is? And before you know it, you've been distracted. What you do with your distraction to-do list is this. While you are working on that assignment, the moment that thought comes into your head, instead of you dwelling on it, write it down and continue with your task. Write it down, continue with your task. Write it down, continue with your task. Now, the important thing here is this. Don't deny yourself of those little side suggestions. Make sure after you finish your assignment, after you are now on break, or you attend to them as well. But what you don't want is for them to distract you from what you are doing currently. When this thought comes up in your head, when they come up in your head, if you get distracted and you start attending to them, when you come back to now start doing your real work, statistically, it will take you about 25 minutes to get back to the level you were before you were distracted. 25 minutes. That's how long it will take you, not to start again, but to get back to that same level of momentum that you were on when you were distracted. So that is the importance of creating a distraction to-do list. When it comes up in your head, put it aside and write it down. When it comes up, put it aside and write it down, and then you can attend to it later. Is this helping anybody? Let me know if this is helping you, if you are gaining anything out of this. Number 3 way to develop and grow your attention muscle and develop it is to meditate. Meditate. What is meditation? I know these days when people hear the word meditation, the first thing that comes to mind is yoga. Or some monks in a monastery somewhere doing no. That is not what I'm talking about at all. In fact, meditation, the true sense of meditation, the true meaning of meditation is a cessation of thought process. To meditate means you stop processing your thoughts. That is what meditation is. Not being quiet, not being still, not in a certain position, one leg up, one leg down, all of that. No, that is not meditation. Meditation is simply the cessation of your thought process. Now, you could say, whoa, easy. You can't stop thinking. You can't. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Meditation is a state of consciousness where the mind is free of scattered thoughts and various patterns. Our mind is wired to go like that. But when you are in a state of meditation, it's a state of being conscious with your mind free completely from all the thoughts and responding to this stimuli or that issue. No, it is being in a state where you're thinking, where thought process stops, it ceases. Meditation is not about doing yoga, like I said. All those yoga sitting and yoga positions and humming and repeating a word and affirmation and all, those are just tools. They are concepts. They are disciplines. They are things you have to do to bring you to the point of meditation. Those things are not meditation in themselves. They are, however, the things that you have to train yourself to do that will bring you to that point where thought process ceases. The benefit of that is this. To get to that point, to put yourself in a certain sitting position or standing position, or humming or repeating or paying attention to your breathing or focusing on an object, all of that are just disciplining yourself to bring you to a point where you can actually be in a state of no thought process going on. And that is a point of meditation. Not what you do to get to that point, which unfortunately is what people have now called meditation. This yoga position, the Maniki challenge, and all of that, they are not meditations. They are things that you do to bring you to the point of meditation. So in order for you to increase your focus, your ability to pay attention, those things will help you come to a point of meditation, but there are things that you have to do. And in order to do them, you have to be focused in your mind and in your body to get to the point of meditation. The number 4 way of developing your attention level and your ability to be focused, to stay longer on, or to pay a longer attention, to increase your attention muscle, so to say. Another way to develop that is to practice what I call mindfulness. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness. Practice mindfulness. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is simply focusing completely on what you are doing. Focusing completely on what you are doing part-time. Let me give you an example. The typical person sits down on his or her dining table, food in front, grab the fork and the knife, and it is and then push the plate away. The dessert comes, push that away. Coffee comes, drink it. Oh, thank you, Lord. And off it goes. That's the way we eat, because everybody's in a hurry. Why do you think they have drive-through? So that you don't have to wait. You just go whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. But mindfulness is simply paying attention, total attention to that plate of food in front of you. When you grab the first spoonful of the rice, just before you shove it in your mouth, look at those grains and slowly put it in your mouth and savor the flavor of that rice. Then start to chew it gradually. Don't and swallow. No, chew it gradually. Chew it gradually. With every bite of that food in your mouth, try and just enjoy. Let your palate, let your tongue feel the flavor of every ingredient in that food. That's how you will enjoy food. Not just by filling your tummy. It is when it is in your mouth, you chew it gradually. You try to relate to, oh, that tastes like a basil. That tastes like oregano. That is some element of salt there. I feel the lemon zest just tingling at the back of my throat. Do it gradually so that you savor every aspect, every element of it. It's the same thing. Maybe, say you're, as a man, it's time for you to shave. Don't just grab the shaving foam or shaving gel and slap it, papa, and then get the razor, and off you go. Now, you can do that because you're in a hurry, but that is not mindfulness. You are not mindful of what you are doing. Mindfulness is you grab the can of the foam or the gel, squeeze it into your palm, and you don't need to put it close to your nose, but while you are squeezing it, you're looking at the formation of that foam. You're smelling what is the perfume that is coming off it. And as you slap it on your jaw, you feel the leather, the softness of the foam or the gel on your chin, on your neck, on your cheek, and everything. And while you're doing that, you're still smelling that perfume that is in the foam. Then you grab the razor and you do a good stroke. With every stroke, you are almost counting how many of the stubbles are being removed with every stroke. When you do that, the way it will help your attention process and your ability to pay attention and be focused is when you have other things in life to deal with, when you have a task, an issue in front of you, you are not jumping over yourself just to get to the other end of it. You are meticulous, you are deliberate, you slow yourself down to get to know the details of what is contained in that issue, because the truth is, most of these things can be resolved if only we pay attention to the details. The moment you know the details, the result is in your hand. The result is in your hand. Mindfulness will strengthen and expand your attention span for other times that you will need it, not just when you are eating or when you are shaving. Mindfulness can also push back, it will help you to push back against some distractions, because you are deliberate, you are focused, you are doing it gradually, you are slowing down, you are deliberately being mindful of what you are doing. Number 5 way of developing and growing your muscle or your attention or your focus muscle is to memorize things. I remember when I was in primary school, my wonderful, my favorite uncle taught me the multiplication table. Oh God, I will forever remember that day. I have to remember the 2 times 2, 2 times 4. Then we went to 3 times 3, 3 times. Then we went to 4 times. By the time we got to 4 times, I'd forgotten half of what I learned at 2 times. And then halfway through, he would say, so, what is 2 times 7? And I'm thinking, no, what is it again? What is it? And whoosh, whoosh. What am I saying? When you learn to memorize things, I know we've been taught in school, oh, don't cram it, don't cram it. Don't cram it. But memorizing it is different. Memorizing it is paying attention to not just the word, but the sequence of the word. Not just the phrase, but the context of the phrase. When you memorize stuff, you are actually training your attention span into double portion. You're doing 2 exercises in one when you memorize things. What do I mean by that? When you memorize things, you have to first train your mind and your attention and your focus to memorize those things, to take them in and cement them in your memory. Then you have to train yourself again to remember them. Not just remember them, but remember them in the sequence and in the context, in the way they are arranged. I remember watching a program, and one young man came up and recited the whole of Psalm 119. I think that is the longest psalm in the Bible. And this guy stood there on the platform and recited every word. The Bible, we brought out the Bible and we were comparing it, excuse me, with what he was saying. And he recited everything to the letter. Imagine the amount of energy, attention, focus that guy will have put into memorizing it. And now the amount of energy and attention and focus with which he now will have to recite it in a major international conference. So memorizing is another way of training your mind and training your attention and your focus power to be able to do those things. When you memorize something, your writing style will improve, because as you are trying to memorize it, you are looking at what people, the writer of that article or that book or whatever you are trying to memorize, you try to be in the zone of where they were when they were writing it. In the course of that, you will come across some words that you've never seen before, you've never heard before, you don't even know what they mean. But at that instant, you have to go and find what's the meaning of that word. What that has done is, number one, it's added to your vocabulary. Number two, tomorrow when you are speaking, you know what I mean, you drop it in. And people thought, wow, that's big English. It's not for a show off, but it helps you to train yourself, your muscle, your attention, your focus, to be able to remember those things. Not just remember them in the context and in the sequence that they are in. Number 6 way of training your attention span to increase and enlarge is to be curious. Be curious. Find out why. Have you noticed children, if you say this thing, they say why? What is that one? Why? When you answer that one, there's another why. When you answer that one, there's another why. What are they doing? They are being curious, and in the course of curiosity, they are learning new things. They are paying attention to things you are saying. You may think you are just answering the why, but actually that child is learning new things and at the same time paying attention, growing their attention muscle, developing their ability to focus on those things. Oh, how are we doing with time? Gosh. I have one exercise when it comes to being curious. Let me talk about it quickly so that we can round up. This is how you can train yourself to be curious. Get a piece of paper and put a dot on it. Put that piece of paper against the wall. Focus on that dot or circle on that piece of paper. Just look at it only. That's all you're looking at. Don't say anything. Don't compare anything. Just look at it. After a while, 2 things will happen. Number 1, you won't see that dot anymore. It will just disappear. Your eyes are wide open. The dot is there on the paper against the wall, but you won't see it. You will not see it. You will definitely not see it, because your vision will just go blurred and you won't see anything that's on the wall. The second thing that's likely to happen is you look at it, and after a while, you involuntarily stop looking, stop seeing it. Involuntarily, your eyes just don't see it, but it's still there. But in order for you to focus on it for longer and still be seeing it and not move away from seeing it and keep looking at it and seeing it, this is what you can do. Be curious. Start talking about that dot to yourself. What is the shape? What is its color? What position is it on the paper? What is the dimension of that paper likely to be in comparison to the big wall that paper is again? What is the size of that paper to the size of the wall, and what is the dimension or the size of that dot on the paper compared to the dimension of the wall? When you start asking yourself some questions about that dot, your ability to focus on it will go longer and stronger and bigger than to just stand there and be staring at the paper. So be curious. When you are curious, you grow your ability to pay attention. The final way you can develop your attention span and muscle is to practice attentive listening. Practice attentive listening. What do I mean by that? When somebody is talking to you or you're talking to somebody, most importantly, when somebody is talking to you, that's not the time to start thinking, oh, my phone is ringing. No. It is time for you to pay attention to what that person is saying. Number one, it's courtesy. It is courtesy for you to pay attention. Number two, it will tell the person that is talking to you that you have given them all of your undivided attention, which is a sign of respect. And the good thing about that is because you are showing that to that person, when it's time for you to talk, guess what will happen? They will pay attention. They will listen openly, rapidly, completely, sold out, like want to jump in your mouth. But what tends to happen these days, I was at the O2 yesterday with my children. And while I was waiting for them to come, I was sitting in the Starbucks. And this young man and his friend, his lady friend, came into Starbucks, got their coffee, and they sat down and they started talking. And within a space of, I don't know, maybe 5-7 minutes, the two of them stopped talking. And the two of them grabbed their phones and were just on the phone. And they went talking. And I sat and I was looking at them and thinking, I thought you guys came out here to spend time together. You can look at your phone afterwards, but just pay attention to the person in front of you, for crying out loud. Put the phone down. But do you know we are all guilty of that? So when next somebody is talking to you, deliberately fold your phone, put it in your pocket, and don't look at it. When next somebody is talking to you, give them your full attention. It's a sign of respect. It's also a seed that you are sowing, and you will reap the reward bountifully. So another way to develop and grow your attention muscle and your ability to focus on something for a longer period is by practicing attentive listening. Practicing attentive listening. I would recommend that you, there are so many concentration tools out there that you can lay hold of. Different ones, and they all have their pros and cons. So whatever you want to do, please choose carefully. Look at which one will work for you, which one will benefit you. I mean, when it comes to concentration, that's a whole class on its own. When it comes to concentration, there are so many exercises that you can do to concentrate, to learn how to concentrate. The easiest one, or the first one, could be just learn to sit still. Just sit down on a chair, back straight, shoulder straight, and just remain still. No fidgeting, no twiddling of arms, no scratching of ears. Just learn to stay still. Even the Bible says, be still and know that I am God. Sitting down and be still, sitting down in a position or being in a position of stillness is a way of developing or exercising concentration. Another thing you can do is to do what they call gaze at your finger. Put out a finger in front of you and focus on the tip of that finger only. And see how long you can focus on it. How long you can look at the tip of that finger without your eyes wandering somewhere else, on your mind going somewhere else, but just on the tip of that finger. Another exercise you can do to grow concentration and focus and attention is to stand before a mirror. Stand in front of your mirror. Don't say anything, but just look directly into your own eyeballs in the mirror. As if somebody else is on the other side of the mirror looking at you. Look straight into their eyeballs. Especially for people who said, oh, I'm too shy, I can't speak in public and all of that. That's a good exercise for you. ability to look at people straight in their eyes, not in an arrogant and condescending way, but just to say, you have my attention. Look at them straight in the eye. That's another way you can learn to concentrate. Finally, another way you can learn to concentrate is when you read. When you read a book, an article, whatever you read, close the book and try to summarize what you have just read in as short a sentence as possible. Say you've read a whole page, summarize it in 2 or 3 lines, the whole page. Summarize it in 1 sentence. Because you know you have to do the summary, because you know you have to summarize it in such a short few lines, when you are reading, you pay attention to every word and every sentence that you are reading, because you know at some point you have to remember everything you have read, but more than that, you have to compress it into a very short sentence. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, therefore, the world we live in is a very busy world. And also it's a world that has offered us what they call convenient and easy lifestyle, things that will make our life easy. There's phone, there's iPad, notepad, every pad, and all the other pads. There are so many technologies, this app and that app. Everything is coming out at such a rapid rate. And these are things that the world says to us are going to make our lives easy and better. But the truth is that the opposite of our experience, if we want to be truthful with ourselves. They make our lives more busy. They take our attention. They make our attention span so short. But is that an excuse? No, it's not. To live a true flourishing life, you must admit, you must learn to shut down distractions as much as possible. And one of the best ways to shut down distraction is to master your attention. Master your attention. Be the commander-in-chief of your mind. The Bible talks about guide your mind with all diligence, because out of it flows the issues of life. Being able to mind and guard and protect and focus your attention is perhaps one of the best things that any man or woman can do for himself or herself to live a flourishing life. You need to listen to people at the point of their death. They are not talking about, oh, I missed the train in Croydon. And no, they are talking about the quality times they spent with their loved ones and families. They're talking of the life opportunities and the things that they paid attention or didn't pay attention to. Those are the things they talk about at their point of going home to be with the Lord. You don't want to be on that bed that day and be in a state of regret because you failed to pay attention. You'll be amazed when you pay attention, when you deliberately pay attention, you'll be amazed how much your life will improve. How much value will be added to your life, and how wide your tentacles will reach people far and wide just because you pay attention. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me encourage you to please pay attention to your attention. Thank you so much for listening. I know it's slightly over our time. I'm sorry about that. I had so much and I'm trying to compress it within the time. However, if you have not shared this program, click the share button now so that you can have a footprint of it on your timeline, and somebody else out there can partake of it that probably will not, I cannot reach, I don't know, but you will know them and you can reach them. Be a blessing to somebody. Let me also remind you that our golf outing day is on the 19th of August. the 19th of August at Hilden Golf Club. The address is on the timeline. Again, I will repost the address again tonight. And also, I would like to announce that the other program that I do every Monday, the administrator, which is the consultancy business that I do for churches and ministries and not-for-profit, not-for-profit organizations, NGOs, and social enterprises. The website is live now. The website for the administrator is live. Please check it out. Let me know what you think. Drop me a line, put your comments, and let me know what you think on the Facebook. The website address is www.the-administrator.org. www.the-administrator.org. Until next week, when we meet again and when we'll be looking at another topic, another vital tool in what we need to be, become, and have in order to become a better man and a better woman. Remember, on this journey of discovery that we are on, we are not giving up. We're not stopping. We refuse to be distracted. Our attention is focused on the destination because we know at that destination, when people look at you and they look at me, they will say for sure, these are better men and these are better women. Until next week, this is Tunde Disu once again saying, thank you, God bless you, I love you, and I appreciate your time. God bless you. Bye-bye, good night.